Welcome, everyone, to Christian Networking Entrepreneurs, also known as CNE. We're also excited to see you once again this month. Remember to share, like, tag, send this information to your friends. CNE is a platform created and founded by Pastor Teresa McCurry for emerging entrepreneurs, community leaders, developers, owners of businesses to tell their testimonies and their strategies. Also, CNE is a outward outreach ministry from New Beginnings Ministry, where Apostle Gregory McCurry and Prophetess Teresa McCurry are the overseers. So, in case you are wondering, before we go any further, how do you become part of CNE, or how do you get on this platform? I'm going to give you the information that you can email or either call us so you can have your space on Christian Network Entrepreneurs. The phone number is 216-970, option or extension number 4. Or you can email us at CHRNETENT@gmail.com. And you can apply to be a guest on the show. I'm going to revisit this information at the end in case you just didn't get it. But before we go any further, we want to introduce our guests. You know, we bring just the most amazing guests on month after month. So today we have Apostle Sherise is our guest today with her product. She's going to enlighten us about her journey. How you doing today on this cold winter morning?
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for having me today.
Good. Are you enjoying this cold weather?
Actually, not at all. No, I would prefer the warmth.
Exactly. So because of the weather, we are doing a Zoom. So because of the weather, we are doing a Zoom. I was kind of disappointed because I really wanted to get one of her products today. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let her tell us about it. So as we go into this interview, tell us a little bit about who you are as an individual, who you are, a little backstory.
All right. Well, again, my name is Hardrick-Warren. I am a serial entrepreneur, I like to call myself. I do many, many things. I wear many hats. I am also an apostle in the marketplace. I just love people. I just simply just love people. I love taking care of people. And that's one of the mandates that's on my life, is to take care of God's people. I love creating different things. I love one of the favorite things that I love to do. I love the challenge when people tell me what I can't do.
Yeah.
Now that right there, that sends me into another type of momentum. I love when people say or dictate to me what I cannot do, because I love to prove people wrong.
Got it. So not only are you said serialpreneur.
Yes.
Love the term. I believe that fits me to a T. But you're a serial entrepreneur, you're an apostle, you're a mom, you're a wife.
Yes, ma'am. I am married to Timothy Warren. I also have 5 children. So we are pretty much a blended family. I'm also an apostle. I currently fellowship at New Hope Fellowship in East Cleveland under the leaders of Chief Apostle Joseph Prude and Sandra Prude.
Yes, got it. I wanted to really kind of get that in there, because you said you wear so many hats, but even being an entrepreneur, even being able to juggle being a mom, juggling the service of the Lord, juggling being a wife, and still being able to dive into something that you love and you enjoy. So I wanted to definitely bring that out this year as we're interviewing our guests. So tell us a little bit about some of your entrepreneurship adventures, put it that way. Okay. Since you say you have a few different ones, but I know we're honing in on one specific one today.
Okay, so I have a brand that's called Sherise. My brand is for men and women. I create t-shirts, sweatshirts, cups, whatever you may need to be printed, I can do it. And so I started off with that maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, just playing around, a little bit, and pretty much figured it out on my own. And so I went from there, and I began to buy different things that I needed for the business. And then it just like every other endeavor, I just tried it. And once I saw that I was able to do it, it just prospered. It just prospered. And so that's one of the brands I have. Again, Alive Juice. That's my current, I want to say my current entrepreneurial journey in this season. In this season, I have created Alive Juices, and it has been phenomenal. It has been mind-blowing, and God just continues to amaze me what he keeps doing through the people that I serve. If it wasn't for the customers, I wouldn't even be able to do this. So again, the customers or my clients are the ones who made it possible for it to prosper the way that it's possible.
Yes, yes. So you talked about in your first business where you do the sweatshirts and the t-shirts and the mugs, and you said you were self-taught.
Yes.
So you meaning that you took the time and did the YouTube, did all of that good stuff, and learned how to do your craft. And it's amazing because I think people need to understand that sometimes you might not always have all of the tools right in front of you, but being diligent and seeking out the education and the knowledge that you need to know helps your business grow. You're not just waiting on for someone to show you. You're going out there and finding out for yourself.
Absolutely. So when I began with Sherise, so I'm gonna start back a couple of years. Okay. So I didn't know who I was. I'm gonna say I was a baby in Christ, and I really didn't know, who I was or what I was called to do at that particular time. And so the Lord began to talk to me about who I was. He began to minister to me about my name. So Sherise is actually my name. Sherise. And so he told me to look at my name as a compound word. And so he began to break the two down. And so what I took from that was, at the time, I was a single parent. I was on government assistance. I didn't have much. And so the Lord showed me what I was capable of. At the time, I didn't have a job. And I didn't even know what to do. I didn't even know who I was or what I was taught to do. And so the Lord began to minister to me about my name, Sherise, which is actually Sherise. And from that, a female that will always ascend in everything that she does. And so I created he told me to do a ministry out of that. And then that's how Sherise got created. And so, through that, it started with a youth ministry, Sherise Youth Outreach Ministries, and then it evolved into other things. And so that's how I learned who I was, through my name and through the revelation that God had given me.
So it's funny you said that, because I looked at your name today on the flyer and I said, Sherise. I never noticed it before. So I said, let me go back and make sure the spelling is correct. And when I looked at it, I was like, wow, it was the first time today, maybe about an hour ago, when I looked at the name and I realized, like, oh, wow. And it's so unique because even back in Jewish culture, they would name their children after like prominence or what they wanted their children to be. So they would call them that over and over again. So Sherise means that she'll never be at the bottom. Sherise means she'll always rise out of any situation or any circumstance in life. So I believe you're actually living out your name. That's just such an amazing thing. So now you have your one business. Now let's talk a little bit about this juice. Now let me stop here, everybody. I have purchased this juice myself. It is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I told them earlier, I literally had to hide it from my kids. It was just so good. So tell us a little bit about, you go from, being creative with, the t-shirts and things of that nature. And now you're developing your own juice, which also goes in line with that creative ability that God has given us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the journey with the juices started off with me not feeling well. With me wearing many hats. Sometimes when we wear many hats, we get burnt out. And if we're burnt out, we can't be productive, right? And so I would remember me being dizzy. I would feel dizzy a lot of times. I would feel out of sorts. I would feel dehydrated. My hair would be very brittle. Just a numerous things that was going on in my body aching, my joints not really just functioning the way that they should function. Mm-hmm. And so one day I was just standing at my kitchen sink, and the Lord told me to change my eating habits, because I was complaining about the way that I was feeling, and I didn't understand what was going on with my body. All right. And so the Lord said, change your eating habits. Something very simple that he told me to do. Nothing deep, nothing dramatic. He just said, change your eating habits. And so from there, I went on a fast. And so during my fast, the Lord began to instruct me on, because I was inquiring about, okay, well, I'm tired of just eating all these vegetables, right? What else? What can I do different? Mm-hmm. And so that's what brought on the juices. And also intertwined with that, with all of that going on, I found out that me and my family found out that my mom now had been diagnosed with lung cancer, but then the lung cancer metastasized to her brain. And so now I'm thinking, oh my God, is this hereditary? Is this going to follow me throughout my life? Blah, blah, blah. And also I went to the doctor, and lo and behold, I found out that I was pre-diabetic. So all of these things are happening at the same time. But also the Lord revealed to me, if I had not started juicing, if I had not started eating right, then it would no longer be I would no longer be pre-diabetic. It would be full blown out diabetes. Yeah. But I believe because I listened, I heard, and I obeyed what the Lord told me to do, that healing started coming forth in my body. And mm-hmm. things in my body started lining up. So, and let me put this little disclaimer in there. I'm not disclaiming to be a doctor. I'm not a physician or anything like that. I'm telling you what worked for me.
So you said I'm changing your eating habits. I love how you said it was nothing so prolific. It was nothing, no voice that came out of heaven. It was just change the way you're eating. What I love about God is that he never leaves us unaware. So a lot of times if we're feeling an ache, a pain, or something, it's like, hey, something's going on here. You need to check on this particular mm-hmm. thing here. And you talked about wearing so many hats and being fatigued. I think that is something that is very common to a lot of us, that you take off one hat and you put on another one, and you just keep going, and not sometimes getting the proper rest that we need, the proper nutrition that we need. And maybe you may not be a vegetable person. So there is another way to get the vitamins that you need, other than maybe just doing vegetables all the time. So you came up with this juice. So you're in your kitchen, God is talking to you, and he's telling you about this juice. So what is God saying? Put this in here. How is that happening?
Well, okay. So I just started looking up with, I had to do a little bit of research first. Never in my life had thought about ginger. Never in my life would I have thought about turmeric. I wasn't that type of person to be. No, that just wasn't me. Until I began to research different things. I began to research holistic foods. and I began to research what are the benefits from this, you know. And as I began to research different things, like turmeric, it has antioxidants and inflammatory properties in it. It helps with like the swelling in your muscles or swelling in your joints, things like that. It also helps alleviate pain. Now, going back again, I told you I was feeling very dizzy. And I also had brain, it felt like I had brain fog. Like I was very forgetful. I couldn't remember a lot of stuff. Just feeling off, unbalanced. And also ginger, what ginger does is it helps prevent heart disease and cancer. And so remember I told you that we found out my mom had cancer, right? And so that really just struck a nerve in me. And I'm like, oh, I got to get into this thing here, you know, because if we can prevent someone from death, wouldn't you do that? Yeah. If you could prevent someone from having some type of disease, wouldn't you prevent someone from doing that? And so that was the whole gist of it. If I'm able to help someone get well, if I'm able to help someone get well, why wouldn't I do that? And so I didn't want to keep this alive just to myself. I wanted it to, you know, I wanted everyone to know about it. And so that's the gist of how I got started. And once I started drinking this juice, I'm like, well, wait a minute now. I think I'm on to something here now. Girl, I made this carrot juice, right? Girl, as soon as I drank the juice, and I kid you no lie, I literally felt the change in my mind, in my brain. I felt something click in my brain. I kid you no lie. I'm telling you the truth. And from that moment on, remember I talked about the brain fog that I was having? Wow. I'm just telling you what worked for me. Also, depression. I was depressed. Yep, in ministry, depressed. Come on, somebody. This is gonna help somebody today. This gonna set somebody free. Yeah. This gonna set somebody free today. Come on. Because a lot of times as women, we working in ministry. We're mothers, we're wives, we are ministers. We listen. Women, it's time to stop trying to act like we don't go through things. Listen. Yeah. My husband needs me. My children need me. My community need me. Hello? My family need me. And so I want to be alive and well and productive. Come on, somebody. I want to be productive. I can't be productive in ministry. I can't be productive in my marriage or anything else if I'm not well. Beloved, I pray that in every way you may succeed and prosper. And what else? And be in good health. Good health. Come on, somebody. You can't really prosper if you're not in good health. You really can't if you don't feel good. You need both of them. You can't be in good health. And what? No, you need both of those components. Hello. And so I found myself being very, very depressed in ministry because I was overwhelmed. Come on, y'all. I was overwhelmed. I wasn't taking care of my body. I'm getting older. I'm almost 50 years old. Come on, I ain't that 25-year-old woman no more. I understand. Girl, I was feeling aches and pains I ain't never felt before. Yeah. Now, am I 100% better? No, but I'm striving to get there. Yes. Striving to get there. And how do we get there, prophetess? By eating well. Yeah. By eating well. So when a lot of people taste the juice, right? They was like, oh, this is good, girl. This is good. But I don't want it to be just good. as in the taste. I want it to be good for you.
Yeah.
I want it to be good for you.
Okay, you have hit on so many different aspects. I mean, you can tell when it's something when you interview preachers, because they go through a gamut of things. But you hit on so many different areas that I want to touch on and I want to revisit, because this all goes along with us being our best, like you said, being our best, and being our best in every aspect of life, being our best in our ministries, being our best in our businesses that God has ordained for us to have with our children and things of that nature. And you hit it on the nose. Sometimes we take on so much and we think that we're doing the will of the Lord by being overwhelmed. That's not the will of the Lord. That's not God's will for you to wear 50 million hats and not take care of yourself, or not take care of your first priorities, which is home, because you're taking care of everything else. So I love the fact that, I mean, this is a whole like women's conference all just by itself. But I love the fact that God loves his people so much that he'll stop you in your tracks and say, hey, wait a minute, something has to change. Something has to change because there's work for you to do. And then you talked about the turmeric and what was the other one? The ginger. One thing that I thought about when you were saying, these are all natural. These are natural. They come directly from God.
Yes.
No added sugar, no
added sugar.
Just so everything that God put on the earth is still good for us. The natural things are still good. So God refers you back to the beginning. Okay, put in your body some natural things. And you talked about how the brain, I call it a brain fart. I get it. I just turned 45 this year. And I told my husband, it seemed like the day I turned 45, things start changing.
Okay.
Just literally things start changing. And I think sometimes we just count it as thinking, well, that's just it. It is what it is because of my age. But as I'm discussing and talking with you, I'm realizing that it might be a natural course, but it's something that we can do to kind of change the trajectory, something that we can do to help our natural bodies function the way that God intended them to function.
Right.
Because I'm sure the sugar slows us down, the processed food slows us down, all of those different things. And then to take that, the juice and automatically begin to feel better immediately, I don't discount it at all because it's natural, right?
Yes. Yes. And I was as I was making the juices, I was talking to my sister, and I was like, you won't believe this. You just won't believe it. I was like, I feel like 85% better. I could concentrate. I have more energy. I used to be a livid coffee drinker. I would drink coffee. Oh Lord, I would drink coffee every single day, maybe 2 times a day. Once in the morning and maybe in the afternoon, just to kind of like keep me going or whatever. But that was one of the things that was really taking a toll over my body. Because once you come down off the caffeine, it's just like, oh, I can't do nothing else. Where the bed at? Or where the couch? And so that was me. But I found as I began to juice, by the time 8 o'clock come, I'm still good. I can still get some more work done. You know what I mean? I still have energy. I'm just not, because by 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I was done. But as I began to put myself on a regimen and maybe replace the coffee with the juices, and then that just made me feel better. I was more calm. I was more alert. I could think better. Listen, girl, one day I was trying to get in my truck. Y'all, baby, listen. I was like, well, what's going on? I couldn't lift my knee up. My leg was off. I said, oh, no, this can't be. No. So again, just, by me juicing and everything, it really just did an overhaul on my body. One of my clients also, she suffers from multiple sclerosis. And this is her personal testimony. This is what she told me, is that she was like, when she began to take the turmeric and the ginger that was in the juices, that she could I want to say it's more tolerable for her now, to where it is not as painful as it was. She's more mobile now. So that's a testimony unto God. So yeah.
Wow. I know what you mean about that certain time. I'm sure everyone on this live can attest to there's a certain time of the day where you're kind of just depleting. It's like you're done. When I used to work at the school, 2 o'clock would be my time, where I was just like completely done. And I would do what you said. I would grab another cup of coffee to kind of get me that last hour and a half, like little kick that you need. But the natural things and taking that inside of your body, opposed to, like I said, all this other stuff is, it makes sense. Now that we're sitting and talking about it, it just makes good sense. It's no big epiphany. It makes sense. So now you've come up with a couple of different, you have more than one flavor, or?
Yes, ma'am.
So
all right. So I believe the one that you had was apple ginger.
Yes, and you could literally taste like the ginger, and it wasn't overbearing. It was just a different taste.
So you have, we have apple ginger, berry goodness. So the apple ginger is just exactly what it says, apples and ginger again. And it's also 100% organic. There is no sugar, no sugars added, no syrups, none of that. It's just natural, right? So the other one is autumn spice. Now that's carrots, ginger, turmeric, and apples. Again, 100% organic. And we also have berry goodness. That is watermelon. It has watermelon. Depending on the season, it could be either strawberries or blueberries. Strawberries, blueberries, pineapples, and I believe apples, and elderberries.
Elderberry. Got it. So that's 4 flavors. The 4 flavors, you count it?
3.
Apple, ginger.
It's
that
3.
4? 3.
3.
Yeah. And I got the apple ginger. And I know you say it's not all about taste, but in order for me to go forward, it does have to taste a certain way. It does have to taste pretty good. And it's a nice thickness to it. It's not watery. It's a nice substance to it. Well, that's one thing I noticed automatically, that it was a nice thickness to it. Like I said, it did have a really good taste, but you could definitely taste the ginger in it. You could definitely taste the fruit in it. Not so much, different sugars or anything. I did not know that it was all organic. I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes.
So give us explain to us, because we see organic fruits in the store all the time. So what's the difference between me getting some regular strawberries opposed to some organic strawberries?
Well, it's pretty much simple. It does not have the chemicals in it, like the pesticides and things like that. It doesn't have that, I'm going to say poison. It doesn't have the chemicals in it. It's 100% organic. It's natural. And I started to just go that way, but why would I do that if it still wasn't going to benefit, if it still wasn't going to be beneficial to your body? That would be doing the opposite, because now you are ingesting or intaking the chemicals. Why would I do that? It didn't make sense. And so I stayed with organic. Now, organic may cost a little bit more. It may be a little bit more expensive, but you're worth it. You are worth it. Your life is worth it. Your health is worth it.
you find a lot of people say that, it costs more to eat healthy. And I would agree, it does cost more.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, if you really weigh it out and you take out the burgers and you take out the chips, I think it would definitely kind of balance out, because you're paying for all of that other those other things that have so much salt and sodium is a big thing.
Mhm.
You talked about some of the things that, pre-diabetic, things of that nature. Some of these ailments are things that really attack the African Americans, the
Yes.
high blood pressure and
Mhm.
diabetes. I had a daughter that was diagnosed, she was pre-diabetic. She was pre-diabetic for a while. She had gained this weight, the blotches, like the dark blotches all over her skin.
Mm.
She was really, really young at the time. And I had no idea what to do. But the doctors talked about changing her eating habits and becoming more active. And we were able to change it. For me, the whole house is going to change. There was no way that this one person going to change. The whole house changed, and we were able to get it to the point where it never triggered over to diabetic. She never became she's 16 years old now, never became diabetic. But what we had to do was learn how to change some different things. And I would tell you, even now, she's aware of, if she doesn't take care of herself, what could happen. So the thing about it, and she talks a lot about, the natural elements, the natural fruits and things of that nature. And it sounds as though God has literally raised you up. And what I want to say is that God will allow one person to be the example, one person to go through, to be the example, to open up the eyes, or to bring this information to other people. Because it also sounds like some of the clients that you said one has, is that MS, multiple sclerosis?
Yes.
Any of your other clients, do they have like ailments and they find that taking the juice is helping out with any other ailments?
Actually, yeah, one of the young lady, actually, she had COVID. And with COVID, you have a lot of mucus and things like that. It helped bring that mucus out of her. It helps subside the coughing. Also, what ginger does is it also helps with nausea. It also helps with nausea. So how you see in the store, you have ginger ale. Yep. And in our community, the Black community, they say, girl, you better go, they say go get a ginger ale for everything, okay? You better go get your Verner's ginger ale, girl. So that's where, but with that, with the soda ginger ale, it's a lot of sugar in that.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very little ginger. You can't even really taste the ginger. So that's why, another reason why I chose to go organic and chose to go fresh. So, and again, they are freshly juiced. They are fresh, no water added. There is no water added. It's 100%.
That's a lot of juice for no water added. Because I'm thinking, what is it, like an 8 ounce, or how many ounces is it?
This one here, this is a 12 ounce.
Okay.
A 12 ounce. Yep. A 12 ounce.
Wow. And no water. So it's all juice.
All
natural juice.
All natural juice.
So you really got me tickled here, because my kids always say, ginger ale is not medicine, mommy. Or they'll send a TikTok, like every African-American family always thinks that something's wrong, we'll get a ginger ale. And you're right. I've had your drink before, and I've had ginger ale before, and I have not tasted the ginger in the ginger ale like I have in one of your juices at all. So maybe we need to replace the ginger ale with your juices so we can get the proper healing that we need, because what it sounds like, the thing about it is that they're healing agents inside of the juice, because they are natural elements. I keep going back to that, because now I'm sitting here on this live talking to you, and it's like all of a sudden all these thoughts are going through my mind, like, This just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. So as you are producing these juices, God is giving you the ingredients and God is giving you the understanding and the know-how, because keep it in mind, that is a understanding that has to be downloaded, especially if it's not something that you were previously into. You didn't grow up with it. You didn't grow up being introduced to it. So tell us about, as you're starting this business and as you're going along on the journey, what are some of the challenges that you found as you were coming up with this concept? And was it distributing? What were some of the challenges that you had? And then we're going to talk about how you overcame those challenges.
Okay, I think one of the biggest challenges was me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? What are people going to think? What are people going to say? Are people going to think that this is a gimmick? Oh, she just doing something else just to be doing something else. No, there's something else that I'm doing literally may save someone's life.
Yeah.
And so another challenge was I didn't have like the bottles. I didn't have certain things that I needed, right? Listen, remember how the Bible says, Moses, what's in your hand? What's in your hand, right? And so I was like, well, I don't have a big, not yet. I don't have a big commercial juicer, the juicer that I really want. Well, then you got to start somewhere. So I had to start somewhere. I had to start small. I had to start somewhere. And so I just began to go buy the different things that I needed for the juice, and come to find out a lot of things I already had.
Yes.
A lot of things I already had. What's in your hand, Moses?
Yeah, that's something that God had given me earlier this week. I said I was going to do a live about that. So you just like all in my stuff. But I love the fact you said you started where you were. You started with what you had. And oftentimes I am so convinced that a lot of people don't start because they think they don't have what it takes, or I need this or I need that. But I am so confident in believing that God blesses the effort.
Yes.
That God blesses the effort.
So I never, and I'm not trying to like make this so spiritual, but I'm just telling you all the truth. And so as I'm making the juices, I said, well, what do I do now? Where do I go? What do I do? Because this is new to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know. I don't even know where to start, where to begin. And so he showed me where to take them. And I said, do what? So I did what he said do. And from there, they were inside bar on Lachmere. And lo and behold, people were buying, and they still are buying the juices. They were flying off the shelf. I mean, the product pretty much speaks for itself, I want to say. And I began with my printer. Everything I needed was already in my home. I printed my own labels. Went on Amazon, got my, purchased the bottles, purchased my ink. So again, we think that we have to have it all together, and you don't. When you're creating something, you're going to create by trial and error. Hello. Everything is just, sometimes everything will not flow the way you want it to flow, but just keep trying until you get where you want to be. Just keep trying and you'll get there.
Got it. Yes. So you've actually had your products inside of a store out in Lachmere. Now that speaks volumes, because we understand the culture there in that area.
Absolutely.
That speaks volumes, just that in itself. So you had them there, and now do you have a steady customer base that basically they put in orders with you, or how does that work?
Yeah, so my customer base, what they do is they put in their orders via email. They do that, and either I will directly, you can get them from me directly, or excuse me, or I will deliver them to you. So you have options.
Got it, got it, got it.
So
Yes,
now we're looking into shipping as well.
yes. So how long have you been doing the juicing?
It's been about only 6 months. 6 months.
Wow.
Yes, only 6 months now. And I'm just looking to venture out. I'm looking to network with different restaurants, different stores perhaps, and I also want these in the Black communities.
Yeah.
In the Black communities, because it's well needed. It's well needed.
So you talked about being in the Black community. We talked about Launchmere. We talked about there's a certain culture there already. But what we know for a fact is that certain vegetables and certain things are not inside of the Black stores, that they may be in, you know, certain other areas. I can go to Heinz, and I already know Heinz is only in certain areas throughout the city. And I can find turmeric with no problem. I can find certain things with no problem. But if I go into a grocery store that may be in more of an urban area, I'll find more snacks than I will healthy alternatives in the urban area. I worked in the school, you know, I worked in the school. We both were deans at a certain point in time.
Yes.
And the food service would try to introduce the kids to different type of, you know, fruits and vegetables. But I had kids that they didn't know what a pear was. They didn't know what zucchini and squash was. They didn't know, they had never been introduced. And we're talking about kids that were like 12, 13 years old. They've lived a nice amount of time to have never known what a zucchini is, or what squash is, or certain type of fruit. So you are absolutely correct to have that product in our urban communities, where in our Black culture, so we can get the effects of healthy living and healthy living.
Or if you go in the grocery store, you may find that fruit or vegetable, but rarely is it organic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, rarely is it organic. And so we want those vegetables and fruits that is going to benefit you. Now, it's sometimes, you know, we can't afford it, but you do what you have to do. We do what we have to do to get those Jordans. We do what we have to do to get the name brand clothes, right? So we need to refocus. We need to refocus, right? So we need to do what we need to do for our health, for our well-being,
Yeah. And the thing about it is that, you know, like as you talked about, you know, might not be able to afford it. I mean, I'm a mom, you know, so I know how to shop. I know how it is to have a little and still need to feed everybody. But I also know that if we cut back on certain other things, that it'll make room, you know, that it'll make room for the apples and the oranges and the things that are really good for our kids. You talked about also the healthy living and being in our urban communities. I love the fact that, and we're gonna have to try to push this some way, somehow. Give me some time and we're gonna think about this.
Okay.
But introducing our children to healthy ways of eating and healthy ways early in life. That way we won't have some of these ailments that we're facing later on in life. You know, the high blood pressure, because high blood pressure ran in my family does not mean that it has to trickle down to my children. Not if I teach them now some of the things that I maybe didn't know.
And I often think about my mom, and what could I think about, if I would have known about this a little earlier, maybe I could have prevented, or her lifespan would have been longer. You know what I mean? And so not only my mom, but other people who have suffered from diabetes and being overweight. Come on, y'all know. Come on. A lot of our children are overweight, but maybe, just maybe, we can help another young person or another grandma or auntie you know what I mean, to help fight this off. And so I don't, some of the things that our parents or our grandparents went through, we don't have to. Our children don't have to, because we we have the ingredients right here.
Yeah.
It's right in the earth. We have it. It's right here. It's what's
Right
in your
in
hand.
the earth. Oh, I
In
love
the
that.
earth.
Right here in the earth.
It's in
Yes.
the earth. In the
And
earth.
you talked we talked about different ingredients and some of the things. Like I grew up on like macaroni and cheese and the greens and all those different things. But as I got older, because of some health issues, I learned to change some things. I can still have some greens and I don't have to have a bunch of grease in it. I don't have to use pork. I don't have to use all of these other things. My husband made a macaroni cheese not too long ago, but it was with dairy-free cheese. And the kids didn't know at first, but it was like one of the most cheesiest macaronis I had, but we used an alternative. We used something that was a little bit different. And it actually ended up working out really well. So what sizes do you have in the juices? You have the 12 ounce. Is that the only size you have?
At the moment, I'm just doing, I only have 12-ounce juices at the moment, but we will be going to half gallon and gallons.
Yes. So even with the 12 ounces, because what I noticed, like I said, it was a nice and thick. I didn't drink it all in one setting. I drank like half of it, put it in the refrigerator, and then drank the other half later.
And I find a lot of people do that. Also, like when we start putting them in schools, it would be I believe it's an 8-ounce bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be an 8-ounce bottle for children. Yeah,
because it's not like, one thing I noticed about it, it's not something you want to just sit in. Well, for me, I didn't just sit and sip on it. Like you said, I did notice a difference when I drank it. And I'm like, you know what, let me say this for later, for later as well. And like I said, I can't wait till you do you said half a gallons and gallons.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a game changer. Like I said, I literally had to hide it in the house because it did. For me, like I said, I want to go back to it. It did taste good. It did taste good. And so I'm going to actually get me a couple of more because, like I said, they taste good. But you mentioned also about like the brain fog and different things of that nature, that God has put natural ingredients inside of the earth to be able to combat those things that we think just happens just because. And especially those of us that have experienced COVID, I've had COVID. My husband's had COVID. One of the things that he often is very clear about is the brain fog afterward.
Okay.
So about, just maybe not having the same level of concentration or remembering, things of that nature. And listening to you today, it's like, well, we don't have to that doesn't have to be the last say. That doesn't have to be our reality. Because we can take some things that are natural. The elderberry is something else that everyone talks about, even experiencing COVID, whether you experienced COVID or you haven't had COVID. Elderberry is something I had never heard of until COVID. Never heard of elderberry.
I also, I suffered from eczema. And it also, it helped with my eczema. I can't explain it, but it did. And my hair was very brittle, and it was just very brittle and unhealthy. And I found as I kept juicing that my skin was even lighter, my skin got brighter, the eczema cleared up. It just worked. It's phenomenal for me. And I just want everyone else to experience what I experienced. And even for the women out there, ginger also helps with menstrual cramps. Yeah, you can, even with ginger, you can probably make you like a little a ginger hot tea. And it helps with the cramps and women, it helps with the cramps and things and the nausea that comes along with it.
Wow. So we've talked about how amazing this juice is. We talked about the journey. We talked about how God downloaded this in your spirit. How do we get this juice?
Well, you can order directly from me at 440-554-5615, or you can also go to my email. You can email me at alivejuice21@gmail.com.
Alive Juice. I love the name.
Yes.
I put on my sheet. How did you come up with the name Alive Juice?
Again, I wasn't feeling myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling well at all. And I was determined, because I'm a wife, I'm a mother. I was
Yes.
determined that I knew something internally was going on in my body. I knew it. I just didn't know what it was. And I was just determined that I want to live. I want to live. I want to live. And also, in memory, I did it in memory of my mom. In memory, because she was a fighter. She was a fighter. And so I did it in memory of her as well. And all those who could not fight for themselves. So now I believe God, just like you said, is raising me up to be an advocate for others when it comes to their health. Now, am I perfect? Absolutely not. Do I know everything? I absolutely don't. But what I do know, I'm willing to share with other people.
Yeah. I think every entrepreneur needs to have these in their refrigerator. Every entrepreneur needs to have this in their refrigerator, just from the day-to-day, ups and downs that we experience. Every pastor that serves in the church, all of the, wearing so many different hats to get you a boost of energy. So we are so glad to have you on again. What's your Facebook page? Can we inbox you on your Facebook and order?
Yes, ma'am. Right now, you can use my name.
Okay.
Sherise
So
Hardrick-Warren.
if you're interested in getting these, I'm telling you, you will not regret it. I'm going to actually put my order in and hide them from my kids. Well, no, I can't hide them from my kids because they need it just as much as I do. So we're going to split a bottle and get some and see what happens as far as our health and our energy levels. I really thank God for you. I thank God that you heard what God was saying, that you allowed God to raise you up in this capacity. I'm sure it's something you didn't expect God to do, but nevertheless, we are open vessels, and whatever God say do, we do. But I also pray that your business also prospers as well. So we thank you so much for coming on. Bombard her with emails and orders. We got snow days, so she got some time on her hands as of right now to get our orders out. Again, thank you so much. We hope to see you soon, Apostle Sherise. Our time is winding down as always. We enjoy the conversation that we've had with our guests that come on next month, same time. We have new guests that will be coming on. Again, let me give you the information if you are interested in being a guest on our show or either hosting one of our live events that we have every couple of months where we meet and we gather together and we network together. The phone number is 216-916-9270, option number 4. The email is CHRNETENT@gmail.com. You can also go to our Facebook page, which is Christian Networks Entrepreneurs, and you can inbox us on there. So again, we're so glad. Make sure you share this video. And as we always say, if you don't network, you don't work. We'll see you next month. Goodbye.